Hello, 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 my dear. Welcome back to the scene. I'm wondering, how have you been pursuing your spiritual journey? See, some wouldn't even like to call it that, but it is what it is. We're in the season of Scorpio, and we're on some sort of magic ride. It's like the railroad tracks of Disney, where we sing, "It's a small world after all." There's a remnants in the air, and you're wondering if it's the stink of the vegetation that you left out to rot. Corpse-like bodies, relationships and tunnels and trailways and bridges burnt, crossed, haired and tied. The best of me is trying not to get so spooky, if you would. The theme park of Scorpio is one that will have you in a fright. When is this ride gonna end? When is this ride gonna end? Oh, darling, it's just the beginning. When is this ride gonna end? I think I'm just gonna close my eyes all the way through, which is what I'd be trying to do. I'd be trying to like close my eyes all the way through Scorpio, and Scorpio's in my 4th house. I'm like, no, but we must take a look. As Scorpio rules the 8th house of transformation as well as crisis, sudden breakdowns and change, as well as loss. Bouts of dissolution happen here. As for in particular, Pisces Neptune is in the 8th house of the Leo rising. Neptune is dissolution of such debt and debt. The sun is in Scorpio, and there's a bare minimum illumination happening. As we tread down the tired tracks, we realize that the stench is of the habitual patterns that we've yet to discuss, that we've yet to discard. And here we are looking at the very darkness, hence disgust of that and all that we've left behind and all that they've left behind. You haven't cleaned the mess up. This is why Taurus on the surface appears to require such leisure time, such time of enjoying the physical comforts right before. Why not? Why shouldn't I eat these grapes? Why shouldn't I smell this fresh air? Why shouldn't I indulge in this sunlight and this grazing green grass? Scorpio is a perpetual tornado, but yet it has its quiet times. You know, every growling and rustic rabid dog has to fall asleep eventually. And we like the times where Scorpio falls asleep. You're like, oh, what a nice little thing you are. And it's like, moment and it opens its one eye and you're like, oh my god, no, you're actually not as cute. You're actually really scary. You're so scary. Can you look at me like that again? Why are you looking at me like that? Surrender to the divine, the full moon. The venture on your spiritual path has you asking questions like, who is my path? Who is my divine source? And how and what does that look like? How open-minded am I? How closed-minded am I? How fear-oriented am I? How fear-directed am I? Am I so ridden with fear because I don't know how to surrender? And trust me, the 8th house doesn't even give you a time to put up your hands. It just says, stop. And you're like, what? What? Nothing is yet set in stone, mutable energy. Although the Scorpio sun, the Scorpio energy is fixed. This is why I say that we're on like this ride on a fixed track that is going through the motions as we take a look at the scenes that are about. Whoa, that really looks like that. Whoa, why didn't I notice that splatter? Why didn't I? Oh my God, how long has that been there? Whoa. Why haven't I seen all these things? And why is this? I'm just getting waves of overwhelming emotions. Wave, overwhelm, whoa, whoa. And yet I can't seem to do anything about it, which forces us in an act of surrender as we are fixed, but yet in movement. Mutable energy, which would be, so put emphasis on Sagittarius. Nothing is yet set in stone. So what you see here now is not exactly the permanent or fixed problem. It's perhaps permanent and or fixed problems that over time rotted without you fully completing the lesson. It's like a lot of time wasted. It's like, I started this, but I didn't finish it, time wasted. I started this, I didn't finish it, time wasted. And we go back to kind of recognize what we missed, what we left out, what we started, and what we did not complete. And so now we get a visual of all such things, and now it's time to clean up. The Sun square Saturn is remnants of that stench. That stench that you smell. It's like popping a pussy boil and it has a stench to it. That's a Scorpio Sun square Saturn in Aquarius. Gross. Astrology has its many pits and falls, but for the most part, if used lightly and as a tool, with no sense of ownership, can do you quite the wonders. And that sense of ownership really becomes loud here, as we're trying hard to hold on to our coins. We're trying hard to hold on to our coins and the monies that we've manifested, perhaps somewhere in Taurus. The Uranus-Taurus energy is almost like shaking that tree, going back to the familial tree, going back to the familial line, going back deep into your past, going back deep into the magic, your DNA, going back to the origins of your nature. Scorpio is archaic. Scorpio stems back to the originals, depths of self, that soul quality, that soul dark integration that happens somewhat, I believe, with Gemini, and creates this like soul collision. We're trying hard to hold on to our money, but there's something about a draw and a mixed or fixed magnetic manifestation, drawing upon resources that now need to be used and or expended. This is the time that you were waiting for. Now put your resources to the best test. Put your resources to the best sense of use. How far along are you on your spiritual journey, so to speak? Does that even make sense? If you took a look, you'd realize that you were quite nowhere at all. Meaning, you are exactly where you need to be, here and now. Enjoying the process of transformation, willing to see the surprise, the external physical manifestation. Surprise. Tower and the Emperor. Surprise, you were the boss all along. Surprise, you are a boss all along. Surprise, have you surrendered to the divine? That's a little bit of a part of the process as to why one feels like they haven't gotten very far at all. You know, it's like a final trigger or the nip of a loose string that has the strength of Hercules Almighty. Yeah, the Four of Pentacles, right? Which is usually a miser who holds on dearly to its pentacles, feeling everything's accounted for. This is also a financial plan or a plan. This is also solid stability, being able to stand on something solid, but yet failing to recognize that just once you've reached your goal, you have to enjoy it, soak it up, and then surrender it to the divine who has actually helped you accumulate such stability over time. Yet nothing is set in stone. So there's still time in the act of surrendering or loosening up the reins, right? Because there is a melancholy or a sense of loss and or stagnation with the Five of Cups, which is an emotional letdown, a deep emotional disappointment, a sense of loss and grief. And this is holding on too tightly. See, Scorpio will definitely expose to your deepest grief, will definitely expose to you where you feel loss and despair, depression, and heavy weight upon the self. Scorpio will bring you to the very act of having you understand what value, stability, foundation means to you. And what happens on this or within this foundation, what happens when you go down deep into the depths and face the acts of despair, only to be told that it's time to surrender. It's time to surrender. Once you open your eyes and you see yourself in hell, don't you realize that it's time to surrender? Hello? What more can you do? Why must life have to take you down such deep of a hole, such deep of a place, to a place of reenactment, a place of enactment where you get to go and be reborn and transformed? But this place, the Scorpionic place, is very intense, and I couldn't say pleasing. And it's not very often that others are able to escape from this place, to leave this place, to leave this dungeon, to leave this darkness, to leave this cave. Plummeting, 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 deep, 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 deep. Can we get off this ride already? Justice. Oh, that Libra energy. It's like Scorpio has a deal with Venus. And at the very end, justice will be done. But sometimes justice doesn't show up until the very, 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 very tail end. Once you've plummeted deep into the darkness. And see where it is that you've been holding on far too tightly, with a reluctance to surrender to the divine itself, present in your darkness, present in your light, in the light. You can find it. Just reach up your hands up to the sky, stretch out. See, it's not always so dramatic, but you get me. The fears live in the darkness of the mind, somewhere behind, somewhere back there. And they surface, and over time, you get to clean out your closet, like dusting out the spider web. Okay, so the lovers, ooh, that Gemini energy. Gemini, Libra, Scorpio, Capricorn, Knight of Cups. We have a romantic Cancer. Pisces, or a seductive Scorpio who knows how to use his ways and seemingly bring things into harmony, then dispelling any depression and or acts of greed, need. The moon here, soothing the mind, soothing the emotional self, soothing one another, bringing family into wholeness, reuniting family matters, reuniting a solid foundation, reuniting and integrating love back into the situation, integrating the need to be in cohesion with your partner, to be in cohesion with the other selflessly. After a long bout and period of holding on to that used to hurt you, that used to bring you down. And you're realizing and recognizing during this time that you are no longer willing to kind of fight a losing fight, where you are ready to ascend, where you are ready to depart from the darker realms, where you're ready to see the light of day with justice. You're ready to make amends with your past. You're ready to make amends with that stench. You're ready to actively cleanse and clear your path so that you can consciously move ahead in your destiny with the love and the light of your darkest and deepest pain, but without the stench of problems unresolved or problems half solved. You know what I mean? The moon here and the Knight of Cups is an extremely romantic energy. You know, Scorpio knows how to charm. Scorpio knows how to seduce. And Scorpio can be so romantic once their trust has been gained. So instead of seeing too much of the darker side, see where you can kind of turn up the charm and the love and the need for intimacy. Just kind of like trailblazing past any crud that was once blocking you. Now that you've made your loop around, you understand what it is and you're not going to trip over it this time. And let's get, I want to close with a Black Moon Lilith card. Let's get some astrology card going, and then probably a message from the Starseed Oracle or some key terms from the Starseeds. Yeah, Scorpios. You'll find a lot of Starseed Scorpios, because some of them like to do their work undetected. Some of them are like detectives. Okay. What planetary energy is influencing other than the moon? Venus. Moon, Venus, Gemini, Archangel Gabriel, Saturn square Sun. These are prominent energies. The full moon. All right. And the 12th house, Pisces, escape, right? Because we're wanting to escape from the underworld, but on this ride, there's no escaping. We have to finish. We have to ride out to the very end. So allowing yourself to go into a more receptive, dreamy state, right? So it's a great time to not to rest, to allow yourself to get into an energetic space that doesn't require you, that you push too much, that you fight too hard. Fixed water. Fixed water over time begins to smell. We're figuring out how to clear it without being too disruptive. Second house, right? So this is Taurian house, owning, escape of owning. So you are owning what you find in this 12th house of your secondary or original dimension, place of origin. Your ancestral ability, spiritual, making money through spiritual causes and or retreats and or tutelage of the spiritual divine, divining spiritual message, angelic messages, stability, Saturn, return, age, 12th house, escape, and the second house of owning. Well, these are really intense energies. So we do have that marked stability here, financial stability here. So the foundation is done being disrupted. Your foundation will not crumble at this time, but what you will be doing is filling in the cracks and or cleaning up the crud, the debris, everything that it took to actually manifest this solid foundation, so that you can eventually uncover it and release any further despair due to some fears of feeling let down and or loss, where things will now be justified or made just in your favor, that will ultimately lead you into a life-changing path and or decision that will affect not only your emotional self but your entire family, your immediate family, hence then allowing you to become a little bit more lax in your romantic approach. So love is definitely a way that we want to go. Saturn return age, so we've completed a life cycle, a 28-year cycle, a 29-year cycle. This is for a lot of those who have just finished their Saturn return, who are about to finish their Saturn return, and who are in the midst of it. And you will come out of this with a better sense of value, with a better sense of owning and what you came here to own. Also, monetary value and or gain will be shown to you, or you will overcome or win a battle that had seek to threaten your coins, right? Where you were holding on to them so tightly. But the thing is that you don't need to hold on to anything right now, because again, your foundation is set. And then we have that escape energy, that spiritual energy, right? Staying focused on your spiritual transactions, as well as your sense of worth on the spiritual realm, which then translates into actual knowing, right? Through transformation of any financial blocks in Scorpio season. So this is a great time to get your finances in order. Please refer to my spiritual financial currency energy read to get more on your status in regards to this. But overall, this looks really good, and so this is my message for you at this time. I hope this serves you well. I'll talk to you soon, and later.